Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing something I am super passionate about. Hi Leon. And that is meal planning and meal prepping. So I'm basically gonna show you guys what I eat in a week. I'm gonna show you how I prep it.
Candy.
You get candy?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Lucy goes potty in the toilet, you get candy, huh? Okay, you guys, so I'm editing this video right now and I realized that I never really explained what this video is about. So basically, it is going to show you the whole process of what I eat in a week. It's going to show you how I meal plan and how I outline what recipes I'm going to make. I'm going to show you my whole meal prepping day, and then I'm going to show you how I take those ingredients that I meal prep and put them into some of my very, very favorite tried and true recipes at the end of this video. I love doing this system because I have always felt like cooking to me got in the way because you have to think about it so many times during the day. But this makes it so that I'm only thinking about what I'm gonna make about 20 minutes before I actually need to make it. So I love this system. I hope you guys do too. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. The first thing I do is I go through my fridge and my pantry and I see what I need to use up. So this week I looked in my fridge and I saw that I needed to use up quinoa. Then I go to my pantry and I do the same thing. I make a little list of the things I need to use up. Step 2, I brainstorm recipes that incorporate those ingredients. The third step is place those recipes within my week. So I'll show you what that looks like. Basically, on a piece of scratch paper, I have been doing this recently because I don't have a printer. So I just put Monday, I write down kind of what's going on Monday, and then I write down lunch, dinner. Tuesday, lunch, dinner. And I plan my lunches and my dinners. So I like to look at what's going on that day and plan my meals accordingly. So on Taco Tuesday, that's an event where we all get together like in our neighborhood, and so I know I just need to bring a few things to that. Or if Elisha's getting home late from work, I will plan a more elaborate dinner. It's gonna be a huge day for me work-wise, then I go ahead and plan something super easy. And it just helps me stay on track. Now, I will mix and match meals throughout the week, but at least I know that I have lunches and dinners planned for the whole week. This Cook Once, Cook All Week cookbook has been super helpful when it comes to meal prepping. I use some of her recipes, but today we're gonna be using all of my own recipes. Basically, you take a couple staples and build meals around that. So this week, I did that with sweet potatoes. I made a ton of sweet potatoes. Speaking of which, I already have some in the oven. Hopefully they aren't burnt. Oh good, they are looking good. So I chopped up a ton of sweet potatoes, and I also do this with my greens. So I might, like this week I have meals with arugula, so I'm making an arugula salad. I'm making mason jar salads with arugula. So you guys are gonna see that firsthand. We're gonna prep some breakfast stuff, some snacks, some dinners, and some lunches today. So let's get going. So travel back in time for me for a second, and we are going to go to the morning that I started filming this, and I got up and instantly put my sweet potatoes in the oven. So just like in the Cook Once, Cook All Week cookbook, where she preps a lot of the same ingredients and comes up with different recipes for them, I am going to prep a lot of sweet potatoes this morning, and I'm going to make multiple meals from these same sweet potatoes. I tend to just eye a lot of these recipes, but I will have exact recipes linked down below. So for this first batch, I'm just going to put salt, pepper, oil, and some chili powder on them, and garlic salt. And again, I will have the exact recipe linked down below for how I make these sweet potatoes, but these are gonna go in a grain bowl. And so I am prepping them this way. And typically you just need to eye it, you know, give them a light little coating there. And I'm gonna place these in the oven at 350. Next, I'm chopping up some purple onion here. We are going to be using onion for multiple dishes as well, but this purple onion is just going to go in a mason jar salad that I'm actually making for Elisha's lunch this morning. chopping up some nuts, some bell peppers. You could also use some cherry tomatoes, but I didn't have those on hand, so this is what I'm using. The dressing's super simple. You're just going to use 2 tablespoons of tahini. You're going to use 4 teaspoons of olive oil, and then you're going to 2 teaspoons of garlic powder here, and 2 limes. However, I only had 1 lime on hand, and so I'm going to squeeze in half a lemon as well. And then you're just going to throw in some salt and pepper and mix it all up. So to make these salads, just split up the dressing in the bottom of the salads. And I've got to tell you guys, even though I'm making these the morning that Elisha is taking these to work, these are fantastic to make the night before and keep in the fridge, or even 2 days before. I already prepped quinoa, so it's just plain quinoa I'm putting in there, just boiled in water. And then I'm putting some of the sweet potatoes that I seasoned and layering in the almonds, bell peppers, and onions. And then at the very top, you're just gonna stuff in arugula, put the lid on, and pop these in the fridge. They are so easy, so tasty, and really filling because of the protein in the nuts and the quinoa. Okay, so I like to prep a few lunches for Elisha's work, and I also like to prep things for the kids' lunches as well. And part of this process is using the same ingredients multiple times. So today I'm gonna be doing, in this kind of stint of meal prepping, everything that has to do with peanut butter. So I had to stir my peanut butter there, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and make peanut butter and honey sandwiches. You could do this with peanut butter and honey or peanut butter and jelly, and I just freeze these sandwiches. They keep great all week in the freezer, and it's so awesome to just be able to get home from doing groceries or being out and about and grab a sandwich and throw it on a plate for the kids with some fruit. It's like the easiest lunch already, and this just makes it even easier. As you can see, I don't buy my peanut butter pre-mixed, so that is why I use the bowl to mix it up. And since the bowl's already dirty, I'm gonna go ahead and make a recipe that uses peanut butter in it. So I'm gonna start with 3 cups of oats and a half a cup of peanut butter. These are gonna be yummy balls. They're awesome snacks for breastfeeding. I'm gonna put in a teaspoon of vanilla and 3/4 cup honey, a 1/4 cup of butter, and a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. You could also totally use carob. But these are great for breastfeeding, they're great snacks for the kids, and I don't know, I just love them. I'm gonna just go ahead and set that bowl aside now and move on to an oatmeal bake recipe since I already have the oatmeal and honey and all those things out. So I'm gonna use 3 cups of rolled oats and 1 cup of honey. The 1 cup of honey definitely made this really sweet. You could totally do like half a cup and be totally cool. Then I'm gonna put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a little bit of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, I'm gonna throw in half a cup of melted butter. My house was so hot, my butter was plenty melted, and 1 cup of milk as well. Then we're gonna just crack a couple eggs in there, and this is seriously such a good oatmeal bake recipe. after you stir in the raisins, you're just gonna bake this at 350 for about 25 minutes or until it's cooked through. Here's the rest of my sweet potatoes. I've just been putting baking sheets in there full of sweet potatoes, seasoned that same way with chili powder, garlic salt, salt and pepper, and oil. And I'm just going to store these in the fridge for grain bowls later in the week. And now I'm gonna start on the brown bag burritos. And these are freezer burritos that are so good that I send with Elisha for lunch. So I'm gonna have 1 pound of ground beef browning, and I'm going to throw in some onion here. About 3 tablespoons, I just eye it. Next, I'm gonna open up my 1 can of refried beans and a can of red enchilada sauce. And then I like to put all my spices in a little bowl at the same time so I could dump them all in together. I'm gonna put in 4.5 teaspoons of chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, and a little bit of pepper. And then once I have those all in my little cup, I'm just going to pour those in the pan. Next, I'm just going to pour in 1/4 cup of water, put in that can of refried beans, and 2/3 cup of that mild red enchilada sauce, and mix it all up. This filling is so tasty. Elisha loves them. Then I'm just gonna get some tortillas. I bought pre-shredded cheese for the first time in my life, and now I'm pretty much so spoiled, it's gonna be really hard to go back. But you're gonna just wrap these brown bag burritos in a napkin. Okay, no, you're gonna wrap them in a paper towel. Paper towels work way better. I wrapped mine here in napkins because I didn't have paper towels, but they do kind of stick to the burrito when you're pulling them apart, and you have to make sure you get all the napkin off. So paper towels would definitely work better, but what you're gonna do is just put the cheese on top of the filling, roll them up, and then when you take these out of the freezer, you're going to heat them in the microwave for a couple minutes with the foil off, but the paper towel still on. So make sure you keep the paper towel on while you're heating them in the microwave for a couple minutes. And then once they're heated up, I just pull them out, and I typically send a little Pyrex container with cilantro, sour cream, and hot sauce all mixed together, and Elisha can just pour that on the inside of his burrito once it's heated up at work. That's also what we are eating today for lunch. This so does not look appetizing, but it's just a little brown bag burrito mix with cheese, ketchup, and grapes. And while the kids are eating their lunch, I'm gonna go back to those yummy balls because I'm tired of being on my feet at this point, and I'm just going to roll those in coconut. I'm just gonna place these in the freezer for about 30 minutes or until they freeze, and then I'm gonna transfer them to an airtight Pyrex container. The oatmeal bake is out, so I cut it into bars, and you could either put this in cereal bowls and pour milk over it in the morning, or it's a great snack too, and the kids will just have an oatmeal bar. This is like seriously one of my favorite recipes ever. Next recipe, you're just going to need about 3 zucchini and just grade those all up. Here I'm on the phone with my mom, and I just love talking to my mom. And here I am texting Elisha. We love to keep in contact during the day, and he happened to be on his lunch break, so I was texting him while I was grading a couple pieces. I think there were actually 3 pieces of killer bread that I am just grating here. Any bread will totally do. I'm just basically making my own breadcrumbs. And then I'm going to go ahead and grate half of this block of Swiss cheese. I like to go kind of overkill on the cheese. You do not need this much cheese. You're just gonna go ahead and mix in some onion for this stuffing. I should have told you ahead of time. We're making a stuffing for chicken and it tastes amazing. You're gonna put in the zucchini, stir that in until it becomes translucent, kind of like the onions. You're gonna sprinkle in some basil here and a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Then you're gonna turn off the heat and crack in an egg or two. I like to put in 2 eggs. And once those are cooked in there, you're gonna just dump in the breadcrumbs and the Swiss cheese. Such a rich, kind of sharp, tangy stuffing. This is a 4th generational family favorite, and I think you're gonna love it. So I'm just transferring this to a Pyrex dish to put in the freezer. And now we are moving on to prepping the rest of this red bell pepper that I had. I'm gonna make a couple different meals with it, but this first chunk that I'm chopping up, I am just going to flavor the same way I did the sweet potatoes. I'm gonna put in some oil, some garlic salt, chili powder, and salt, and throw those in the oven at maybe like 375. And then the rest of this I am going to just chop up into little pieces for a chicken broccoli braid. Here I'm going to prep for the grain bowl that I will show you how to make later on in this video, and I'm going to just make some cilantro right now, all chopped up and prepared. And then I'm going to take the spines off of these kale and chop up the leaves as well, prepping them for that grain bowl. I do about 2 cups of kale for 2 grain bowls. This head of broccoli is for the chicken broccoli braid, and I just take 1 small head and chop all the little, do they call them cloves? I don't really know what you call those, but I'm gonna do 2 heaping cups of broccoli for that chicken broccoli braid. And this is a real life cooking show, folks. For these almonds that I'm gonna candy for the grain bowl, I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil, some sliced almonds, and I'm just gonna toast those for a second and then grate in some lemon zest. This tastes so bright and tangy, I love it. And then you're gonna add in either some honey or some sugar. Both of those totally work. And throw in those same exact seasonings I'm seasoning everything else with for the grain bowl, and that is chili powder, garlic salt, salt. I also prepped a little bit more quinoa. So today was a giant meal prep day. I'm just finishing up and it's 2:30. I'm just gonna do a quick recap and show you guys what we prepped, and then I will show you the meals that I make out of the things that I prepped as we go throughout the week. So starting here in the freezer, we have up top here, we have snacks. So we have yummy balls, we have brown bag burritos to send with Elisha for lunch, and we have frozen peanut butter and honeys for the kiddos. We also have here this incredible stuffing, and there are the chicken thighs with skin on them that I'm going to stuff this into. Down here in the refrigerator, we have chopped cilantro, chopped broccoli, chopped kale, chopped bell pepper, grilled bell peppers, cauliflower, lots of sweet potatoes. And back here I just have leftover spaghetti that we didn't prep, but we're gonna go ahead and eat that later in the week. And we have our mason jar salads. I have yet to put these things away, but we have the quinoa that's going to go into the fridge. And then outside the fridge we have oatmeal bake bars, and we have candied almonds. This is kind of a treat meal for us to make because, as you can see, it has those crescent rolls, and so it's not super healthy. Typically, I would have already prepped this chicken, but I was just too tired out the other day. So I'm going to chop up my chicken now, and I would say it's probably about 2 cups of chicken that I'm chopping up. Then I'm going to add my cheese, about a cup of cheese. I'm going to add my 2 cups of broccoli that I chopped earlier in the week. And I am also going to add the chopped red bell pepper. Last but not least, I'm going to squeeze in 2 cloves of garlic. I think they call this mincing or mincing. That's what they call it. And then you're going to just put in some salt, some pepper, and some dill. I like to use this Best Foods mayonnaise out of olive oil, and you're just going to squeeze a little bit of that on. I'll have exact amounts listed down below. I'll have to figure it out because I don't know exactly. I just do it by eyeing it, and you just want it like coated lightly in mayonnaise. Here I spread out the crescent rolls, and you're just gonna pile the stuffing in the middle and wrap the long little pokey things over it to make it look like a basket. That was the worst description ever, but you're gonna pop it in the oven at 375 until the dough is cooked, and this is just an amazing dinner. On the healthier side here, I'm gonna show you how to make one of the best grain bowls on the planet. I'm going to first zest about 2 limes. And if you guys are seeing it in the back, I had my aunt and her 5 kids over to my house. And so that's what's going on back there. I'm going to squeeze in those limes now into this dressing. I've made this recipe so much I eye it by just pouring in a little bit of olive oil and doing some salt and a little bit of cilantro. But if you want the full recipe for this dressing, go to my IGTV at Now That I'm a Mother on Instagram, and you guys will be able to see that exact recipe. Look how good this is. We have kale, the dressing, candy nuts, sweet potatoes that we seasoned earlier, avocados, and those grilled bell peppers. So you're gonna start by layering in the quinoa, then go with kale and layer on those sweet potatoes. I love how everything is flavored individually. So you're gonna put on those bell peppers and a bunch of candied almonds, which add a fun crunch. And then you're going to sprinkle on some feta cheese. I like to put avocado on mine, and then you're just gonna pour that dressing on top. And this is just delicious and filling. I'm gonna start by just separating the skin from the chicken thighs or chicken breasts. You could do either. I like to do thighs because they're smaller and the focus is more on the zucchini stuffing, which I love. But this recipe originally was made for chicken breasts. So get whatever you want, just separate that skin on 3 of the sides and leave it attached in the back. Once you separate all the skin, you're just going to stuff, thus the squash stuffed chicken, underneath that skin flap. You're gonna wanna put a ton of stuffing in there. Don't be stingy with the stuffing, folks. The extra stuffing you just want to scrape out and place around the rest of the chicken. And I am pairing it with an arugula salad with some goat cheese, grapes, this dressing from Trader Joe's, and pecans. You're gonna bake this in the oven for about at 350 until the chicken is cooked through. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and it just gave you some fun tips on how to meal plan, different ways to meal prep, and some awesome recipes. I link those all down below, aside for that zesty grain bowl, which you can find on my IGTV on Instagram, and now that I'm a mother. I love you guys so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you'd like more food prep / recipe videos. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you soon. Bye.